Okay, Grant, what are we doing in the shop of horrors here today?
Morning, Brad. Morning, folks. What we're doing today is we are photographing glass plates.
Okay.
We're stepping back in time a fair bit here, and that is a glass plate. That's how it was done many moons ago. You notice that's the shiny side?
Yep,
Probably
yep.
Shiny side.
Yeah, I can see it's very shiny.
And there's the emulsion side.
Ah.
Do not touch the emulsion side.
Okay.
Stay away from it.
Seems like you're warning me. Stay away, Brad.
Yeah, air only. I wouldn't put anything on that because you don't know how stable it is. That side you can clean with water or a damp cloth or whatever. So this is a process going back a long time. I don't know the exact timing of it, but I would say looking at these photos, we're talking 1920s, 1910s was some of the photos that are on these that I'm doing of this person.
Jeez.
So what I've done, and there's several ways you can do this. You can do it, you can scan it with specialist equipment, which is a lot quicker, but photographing them with your existing equipment is a very real option. So I firstly make up a little jig. Okay, that's just simply a mat board, and I cut a correct size piece underneath and then an oversized piece on top and glue them together with a bit of double-sided tape. Now, we lay the emulsion side down against the light, okay?
Yep.
We have a good light box here.
So you've got your camera hanging upside down there from a very large tripod.
Yep. Well, you want all this to be really solid. And when you're lining all of this up, you want a nice solid base on it. Be careful using plastic tables because they can wobble. So this is nice and solid. Light box is nice and solid. Tripod's nice and solid. The head, everything is solid. So
yep.
I can walk away from it.
No movement or shake and stuff like that. Yep.
Now, it's really important to get everything square. Okay? To get your camera square to your light box.
Yep.
I haven't actually measured this up, but I'm just running off my eye here. And get all that right in the first place. Set your photo glass plate into your jig. Why am I using a cardboard jig? I do not want the emulsion side to go onto the glass.
Yep.
Because it'll damage it. Simple as that. There's always dust around, grit, whatever. One little bit of grit on that emulsion side can potentially cause damage. So therefore, by this little jig, sits it up off the glass. That is a bit of a problem when you scan them, in that a scanner is set for an exposure focus distance on the scan, and if you start messing around with that gap between your plate in the scanner and the base of the flatbed scanner, you can alter that focus point. So this is a better way of doing it. So we set this up.
So I just got a question, just talking to, say, a dummy here who knows nothing, which I know nothing actually. I'm acting like, ooh, for the people who don't know. For people like me, Grant, so this, using those glass plates, so has that, I presume that's a very old method of photography, is that correct?
Yes.
And they used to put a glass plate in and that would take your photograph, is that correct?
That is correct, and I should find out, and perhaps we'll ask Don Cannon in our camera club. I'm sure Don will have one. He has one of the best camera collections of all time.
He does, yeah.
As to what camera they actually use for these plates.
Yeah.
So when I show you directly the photos that that this person's given me to scan. He has hundreds of these, and he's just given me a handful to do. Yeah, it goes back to, I would say, 1910, 1920.
Before film.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So the method, I would presume, would be similar to film photography. Back in the old days, they would project light through it onto paper. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, not completely daft in it. Just nearly. So you're at the moment. So you're shining the light back up through it.
Yep.
And then taking that photo on your camera.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And that's upside down for everyone.
That is all
If I
manually.
move the...
That is all manually focused. Now, I could drop the tripod down a bit lower and get a bit closer and fill more of the frame with that, but that'll do for the purposes of this exercise.
Yep.
So I've got it focused. It's all nice and steady. And I use a remote. I don't want to touch that at all.
Ah, yeah. Away she goes.
That's it. So again, my step of what I'm doing here is I am underexposing by two stops thereabouts, just to be sure. And if you were really keen on this, you would perhaps do a bracketing shot. You would do a bracketing exposure as well, just to be on the safe side. But this will come out pretty well.
Yep.
So there you go. That's photographing
So
a glass plate.
what are you going to do? You've taken the photos. What are you going to do with these photos
Okay.
after you've done that?
Right, so having photographed them over there, we then put them into the computer. One point when you're cutting your cardboard mat, cut your top layer. That's the one that the plate's going to fit inside of and rest on the bottom one. Cut them a bit oversized because they're not, you might measure one, they're not all the same. They can vary a little bit. So if you get too hungry on that cut, suddenly you get to one you find it won't go in nicely, and then it's kinked up on an angle, which causes you other issues. So just one little tip to go for there. Make sure that is an oversized cut on top.
Yep.
Okay, so we've done that. We're now in Photoshop.
Yep.
And we go into open up the image. That's what it's looking like out of the camera. Okay, that's what's been recorded. And of course, we crop all of that. But more importantly, we come across here to adjustments, in image adjustments.
Yep.
And we come down here to invert. And then presto.
Mm.
Now we simply bring in our crop tool. And you can play with your ratios, whatever. This has got a really bad mark up there. You can, if you want to, spend, just depending how much time you want to spend on these things and what the deal is that you're working to.
Yeah, once you get it to a digital file, well, then it's no different than any normal photography,
Right,
isn't it?
Exactly. So you can play with that. There you go.
Yeah.
So now you can adjust your exposure, you can mess around with a lot of stuff. You can go in and remove this type of stuff.
Yep.
Your spots, your damage, etc. So,
Yep.
And that's your end result. Then from there, of course, well, as you say, you treat it like any other photo. Then you can print it, store it digitally, do whatever you like.
Very good.
So there is something from the 1900s, early 1900s, popped on a computer.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, thanks for that, Grant.
That's right.
All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap up this episode, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay, folks.
Bye-bye.
See ya.